Oops. I didn't want to do that. Heck, for updates, I already done freaking updated. Alright, fine, I'll update it again. F you. Rounds.
They got there at 6:30, and then they didn't get served until 7:30. So
That's always fun.
Wow.
Always a good time.
and Tyler's too polite to just be like, "Fuck this, I'm out," you know.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
There we go. Yep, there we go. It should popping up right here.
I moved you. I relocated you by force. Alright. I was feeling under the weather yesterday, and I'm still 50-60%.
Hey, same.
Same here,
So-
but also because it's not because I'm sick, it's because I picked up a vaccination yesterday. Yeah, it's been okay. I don't feel normal. But at least the immune system in the vaccination is working, so I know that that's why I'm feeling the way that I do.
I may need somebody to give me a quick refresher. I know you guys were in town. We did all, or the vast majority of the equipment sorting, but I don't recall.
So if memory serves me correctly, we managed to make it to the city. We sort of meandering about, getting some rooms and stuff at this one inn. Got our first taste of the city culture. Apparently, size matters.
Oh yeah.
Is that what the name of the episode is, by the way?
No, but I can certainly go ahead and change that. That won't be a problem.
It is now.
What'd you name it?
Say it, well, I didn't name it anything, but
Oh, yeah, then there you go.
I got it changed over now.
Yeah, but isn't a name like that going to get us demonetized?
I'm not monetizing this anyway, so it doesn't matter.
But what about all of our cool sponsorships with Raid Shadow Legends?
Can't
Raid
let
that
those
reads.
sponsors down.
Well,
Say if I hear anything back from them at first, I'll let you know. But I haven't heard
Sorry.
anything back.
I missed my cue on that. Sorry, my bad.
It's okay, we
So-
can always reshoot. Fix it in post.
fix it in post. So that's where we left off with the party in town, having sorted out the majority of the equipment stuff. If there's anything else you guys need to hit, I'll just need to know that. Everybody is level 3, everything is copacetic. So at this point, the party needs to essentially decide what direction they want to go. And by that, I mean, you know that you've came to town. You guys, after a creature known as a Jagladine, and his name's Lomric. He's trying to find a way to repair the portal so that he can use it to get back to the prison planet. You know that there were ongoing operations on your home planet. You know that he was trying to capture somebody who worked for the Bellianic Accord, who essentially is the an organization that is operating in opposition to him and his organizations and things of that nature, as well as maneuvering in and around the city. So long-term goals, short-term goals, stuff like that. But for the party, you have quite a bit of, acclimation. You're coming into the city. You guys have a penalty as you're kind of adjusting, and especially being a multicultural city that has numerous gates here, there's not just a starkly alien thing. There's more of a hodgepodge, but there is some, as you're noticing, some cultural idiosyncrasies. But now that you've straightened out the equipment, now it's more along the lines of what it is that you guys want to do, where you want to go. Do you guys want to spend some time looking around the city, familiarizing yourself? Are you guys looking to try to? You did start, I believe, last game asking it a question or two about the Belianic Accord, but you basically got some confused looks. It's apparently not a well-known organization at the very least.
We also need jobs
Mm-hmm.
because we spent a lot of money.
I didn't spend a lot of money. Spent
Nalka spent a lot of money.
Just to clarify, you mean like we each go and get individual jobs, or you mean like as a group we need to find a job?
Whatever works. If we can all go get paid to kill something, that would be ideal. At least. Nalka
I'd
thinks so.
rather not. That sounds dangerous.
Everything we do is dangerous.
That is true. Life is terrifying.
But we could probably find some jobs that aren't scary.
Say I can see about trying to find services as a handyman, or I could build some of those eldritch cannons and see if they would sell. I don't know if that would actually work.
I think that the official term for selling something that other people can't use is called a scam.
Well, damn. Okay, didn't think that was gonna work. Okay,
I might have my marketing terms slightly off, but scammer, cheat, snake oils. You can apply which one you'd like there.
so I didn't know that would. I didn't know that eldritch cannon would only work for me. Anyone else? Okay. Never
Some
mind,
call this
TIL.
junk. Me, I call it treasure.
Well, then I'll just fall back to my first plan of just fixing whatever I can find. Anything needs any repair, just bring it to me. I'll see if I can fix it up.
Perhaps before we really get into the jobs, though, maybe we want to find out at least like or spend some time trying to find the Accord, and or someone to fix the gate.
I would like
I
to explore
can-
the city and just kind of, get a little bit more of the lay of the land. Get used to the more culture, just kind of observation.
I
Then
can
maybe-
try to work at a pub and try to get kind of the good gospel.
Why don't we
Honestly,
spend
not
a day-
Ilmater.
Well, why don't we spend a day? I'm ignoring that. Why don't we spend a day and try to just search together, or we can break into groups and see what we can find. And if we come up absolutely empty, find a place to sleep. Like
We
or
have a
go
place
back.
to
We
sleep.
already did.
Assuming we can, like that's a
We've-
multi-day thing. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you
and
can
then
stay there as long as you want, so long as you have the funds.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
we-
then I think we spend a day or two trying to learn what we can and investigate. And then if we need to pivot, because you guys are discussing like long-term staying here, right?
Until we figure out what else to do.
Yeah, because we don't know how long we're gonna be here.
Everywhere around here is a desert. I don't see a use in leaving it.
No, I see entirely the use of leaving it. I mean, ironically enough, I'm just thinking for you guys. I could spend the rest of my life here. I could. It's fine. I can do Ilmater's work here. There's plenty of suffering here, clearly. But you all talk so much about wanting to return home.
I certainly
Yeah.
have no intention of spending the rest of my days here, if possible.
Nope. Absolutely not.
So
not
if we want
like that.
if we want to return home, then the first step is not to find jobs and make careers here.
No, but we
Sake
need
of
money
career.
for short-term goals.
Unless you want to start robbing people, I can do that too.
Nope.
We could do that.
Nalka,
Yes.
no.
Nelka, yes.
Nalka, no.
Why
I
don't we
will.
spend a day or two searching and trying to find either someone who can fix the gate or a cord, and from that, if we come upon job opportunities, I guess apply. Like, but like I don't even think it's so easy to get a job here. You know, like it's what even is a job here?
I'm assuming it's like a job anywhere else.
Mhm.
Other than if you're in the service industry, can you not talk to customers of the same height or not the same height as you?
I believe it was if you are in a group, whoever is in your group has to be closest in height.
But if we're a group of servers, then the one closest in height to let's just okay, never mind.
And I mean, we could find jobs and then attempt to find information, but we're assuming we need money. It would be good to have an idea of how much money we need, like a goal, like how much we need to raise in order to do something, right?
That's fair.
Like at the least, how much money do we need for the foreseeable future in terms of housing for a week, let's say?
At least 7 gold, I would say. Depending on where
It
we're
costs-
staying at.
It costs 1 gold and 3 silver for a standard room at the Cracked Goblet, 2 gold and 8 silver for a higher class per day.
Indeed. So I have 70 gold. So we could stay there.
You need 9 gold and 1 silver for 7 days.
So 10 days, give or take, we could. 10 weeks, we could
10 weeks,
theoretically
yeah.
stay there without needing jobs.
Yeah, I have a good amount of gold on me.
And we
Could
could also
be
just
for
give up.
someone.
Like we don't need to live in such lavish standing either.
Speak for yourself.
I was.
You said
Well,
we.
you said we.
I was speaking of the royal we.
You have royalty in your religion?
Well, no, but yeah, forget what I said, yes.
Already forgotten. What were we talking about?
I think we were talking about how I am a prince, but that doesn't matter right now. So with
Are you an
regards
actual
to
prince?
yes, but it doesn't matter.
Really?
I'm not a prince here.
But you're a prince somewhere.
Yes, but again, that doesn't matter. I first said that,
Something
right?
I didn't know.
That's actually interesting.
Yeah, sure. It is interesting in the fact that it is by giving it up, it is a great source of suffering and thus allows me to achieve the will of Elmater.
But you just called yourself a prince. Does that really mean giving it up?
You might notice I don't have a crown.
Do princes wear crowns? I thought it was more like a tiara thing.
Well, it's more like a circlet, but yes, and I used to have one, yes.
Kind of getting the fact we're getting all a little off topic here.
Just
But
And
it
like
we
was
can
fun.
hear his story later.
Fair.
Or we don't even need to hear my story later. Just the point is just that
Oh, we're gonna hear your story later.
It will be pleasant to
Mhm.
talk while we're working together here.
actually it's quite a horrible story. But nonetheless, if we need to get jobs, we can. But let's first maybe find out if we even need to.
Of course, of course. Alright. I dibs not being with Nalka.
Oh,
Which of you? One of you mentioned the idea of some type of craft that you think could travel between the planets. Who said that? I'll look at Techno.
Let's say I did consider something, but I'm not entirely certain if it's actually going to work. Say
But so
I
that could be our third option.
just say if we can gather funds to maybe somehow acquire a boat, I could see about maybe trying to find a way to, maybe build something around it. Don't think that's gonna happen though. That, and I just kind of like, just kind of like lift my hand and just kind of like wave it off in a sort of a dismissive fashion. I said, just silly childish thing I always dreamt of back when I was a kid. Always had a dream of being able to build a boat that could fly.
That sounds like fun.
Well, if the Accord can't help us or somebody can't help us and we can't fix the gate, that appear other than just living here until we die, that would appear to be the next best option.
Didn't the brothers say that this town had multiple gates?
12
did.
specifically.
And it's true, we could just try and go through a different gate into a different place. Might be better than here.
Or it could be more horrible.
It's actually what I meant when I said better, but yes. Should we put this to a vote?
I suppose.
I thought you were the leader, Arthenis.
No, I'm the talker.
What she says goes, though, and you have a princely background, which greatly affects your leadership capabilities.
Yes, but only in a negative way.
Depends on who you talk to, I
To
suppose.
keep things productive, it is morning-ish. You guys have the day. We did some rolls to see how the selling would be. What is it that you guys want to do? Let's start with this. Do you want to stay together or split up?
I think splitting up would probably be
At least
better
two
all
groups.
around. Yeah.
Okay. Are you splitting into numerous groups, or are you splitting into individuals? So 7 people, or smaller groups.
Hazel will definitely need to be with at least one other person.
I think, yeah, 2 groups does sound good, like a group of 4 and a group of 3.
Yep, that sounds good.
I'm nodding, but you can't see.
Stray and Hazel will definitely be in one group.
So 2 groups, I understood.
2 groups.
All right. So I didn't hear exactly who was in which, but it isn't necessary. Let me move this around real quick to get this music properly functioning, because now, where does group 1 want to go?
Do you have an approximate location for where the Cracked Goblet is in the city?
I do. Believe it or not, I didn't save, at least intelligently save, the map. So give me 1 second.
Probably have to keep an eye on Nalka so she doesn't actually steal anything. Or
I
they.
Or murder anyone.
I never said that I was going to. Just said that I wouldn't necessarily be opposed.
Got our eyes on you.
opposed.
I'm not the criminal, probably. But your laws, they narrow their eyes.
If you don't have it, you do now.
Thank you.
You're smarter than me.
Hooray.
Save it, which I just did. You can drag it to one of the hot bars. So to specifically answer your question, the Cracked Goblet, you guys actually visited a couple shops yesterday, but last time we played, the Cracked Goblet is the comfortable, kind of wealthy-ish tavern inn, and it is located in this area. You can stand by for a little bit. I'm gonna get it actually marked. I actually have markers for it, but it's around the pink circle on the map.
Okay. Yeah, because that kind of informs what kind of places we should check out. Like this giant walled compound directly beside us.
So now
Ooh.
you should damp. There
What
you
did
go.
you do? What did you do, Tony?
I put a little marker on there,
Oh
Alright.
yeah.
like one is wont to do.
My fantasy grounds immediately crashed. I'll be right back.
Did anybody else's crash?
Mine didn't. I'm good.
Nope.
Could you
I
kick
I'm
me
okay.
out?
I would be ecstatic to do that. You don't even have to be talking about right now.
Huh.
Just anytime, any place.
The scale's actually not nearly as big as I thought.
The scale.
40 feet. Yeah.
I don't know about the grid they put on. I had nothing to do with this grid. Oh wow, that grid is incredibly large. That would be a more accurate grid.
There's a little tiny distance marker that says 40 feet is.
Yeah, that's what I
Whatever.
was talking about.
Yeah.
Where
Wasn't really. I didn't really
Alright,
see
let's
A little
The
see.
grid.
compass rose.
See if I can. It's 25
So, like-
feet. Let's take it up to 8. No, let's take it down to. Let's try this again. Let's see if that's 40 feet. While Mal rejoins us. There we go. There's your scale if you want to scale. You can zoom way in and see the grid. But I am making the grid alpha of 35, so it should be almost impossible to see.
Can only see it on the light spaces, really,
That's the idea.
which is fine.
Alright, so who's in group 1? Moving this along, let you guys roleplay a little bit, but moving this along, where are we wanting to start with group 1?
I'll be in group 1 with Estrella, and then whoever else. Preferably 2 others, because Hazel would prefer to be in the bigger group.
Strength in numbers.
What are the two
Yeah.
groups doing?
No idea yet.
No, don't know yet.
They just decided to split up into 2 groups so that they could attempt to do 2 things.
So
Or cover more ground.
we had 6 people in a vote there, and 4 people said they wanted to find jobs. So why doesn't the first group go try and find jobs?
Alright.
Okay.
Sure.
So Hazel, Estrella, who else wants to go find jobs? Who voted yes, I guess.
I guess I'll go ahead and I'll go with them.
Kazu.
Okay.
So starting with whichever group wants to go first, what are you doing?
Group 1, trying to find jobs. Odd jobs,
Yeah, look.
jobs at a bar.
Yeah.
See if
Fixing
Gifo needs
shit.
any help.
Yep.
So you're looking around at taverns looking to get a job doing what?
Hazel would like to try his hand at brewing beer.
And who else is in your group? Hazel and
Estrella,
Kazu.
Estrella, Kazu, and
Techno.
Techno. Alright, so you guys are looking for jobs, specifically as bartenders and what else?
Brewers.
Brewers? Okay. Techno? Anything?
Just general repair. Any sort of
Alright.
handyman.
Okay, give me an investigation check, followed by, for everybody, followed by a, don't roll it quite yet, give me 2 seconds, now roll it. Investigation check, and give me a persuasion
Yes.
check as well.
Okay.
While they roll that, The other
Oh,
three
no.
of you,
Oof.
Kashut,
Oof.
Nauka, and Arthanis, what is it that you are looking to do in a productive
Oops,
way?
I rolled intimidation.
That's
It's
fine.
right.
You'll give me a job if you know what's good for you.
I forgot
Um,
that we have a
Probably,
minus
yeah.
3 and
Reroll that.
It's
disadvantage.
probably got the same modifier. You might not even need to.
we could try
No,
and
I
find...
got 0 in intimidation.
We could try to
Come
find
on, give me
some word on the Accord.
Come on.
And or
Not picking
like
up.
a gate fixer.
Yeah, I feel as though the gate fixer might be significantly harder if
Yeah.
Lomric hasn't been able to really secure somebody. But we can look for both. But where?
I think we walk. I think all we can do is walk
Just wander
around
around.
and passive perception the shit out of this, you know?
It looks like there's a marketplace on the west side of town.
West side.
That could be a good place to look for information.
I couldn't roll my persuasion. I actually rolled a 20.
Sure, you did.
I
Oh
say
yeah,
the
it's
roll.
not picking it up. I rolled a couple of times for investigation, and it didn't show it.
No big deal. It's
That's
a group
not-
check.
Not the first time we've
Okay.
had something like that happen.
All right. So while they are rolling, you guys are going to, as I understood it, wander around town.
Maybe specifically, is that a market stall, like a market space on the west side, just south of the purple building?
I don't know to what you're referring to. Maybe this.
That exact. I just see colorful tents.
That's a purple building?
No,
So
the
there's-
purple
there's-
building is to the north.
There's quite a few areas that you can visit. That is one of them. If you're looking to kind of move through in and around the city, that is a open air market, exactly like you kind of assumed, but it's more free farmers, fishermen, tradesmen, general market, people that don't either are coming in to the city short term or are trying to survive and don't have the money to have their own type of thing. But yes, it is a market.
Okay.
Yeah, get a place to start as any.
So you make your way over there. It is known as Toilers Square. It is, as I said, an open air market. It is pretty heavily guarded. You can tell by the constabulary, and they are standing on the end of each road. There's patrols. You would probably estimate some thievery takes place, maybe a little more than in areas there it's more established people. Pardon me. So, what is it you guys are wanting to do there?
Try to see if anyone's even heard of the Accord.
Okay. Give me an investigation check, all three of you.
Yikes.
What's this marketplace called again?
Toilers Square. As in toil. So, while you guys get those, those of you moving around the city, you guys move around the city kind of looking for jobs. Are you taking an approach of take anything that works, or are you just kind of looking to get a job as a bartender, brewmaster, repairman, / whatever Estrella?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
if
am.
If Kazu can brew potions, then he can try brewing alcohol.
Fair enough.
Hazel will assist Kazu in any way possible that he can.
He
Or try.
appreciates the assistance. Thank you, Hazel.
Hazel is looking to learn.
So those of you who are looking to work in bartendery, Hazel and Kazu, not necessarily bartendery, but brewmaster, brewing, things of that nature. It is considered a downtime activity to work, which you can do. And what you're going to do is you're going to move around and you can get odd jobs. You're probably not going to get a specific position your first week, and you would do a skill check. That skill check is going to be at the end of the week, and once that is at the end, you'll work for you have to agree to work for the week, which is 10 days. You work for 10. You work the 10 days. You do a skill check based on the outcome of that skill check. You get paid.
Cool.
Hooray!
And so, if you guys want to work together, you guys don't have a tremendous difficulty finding jobs, but obviously you're gonna be an assistant.
As Hazel's working through, he'd like to try to observe the customs of the people if he can, absorb as much as he possibly could.
Okay. And let's move to Techno. You're looking for repair work?
Yep.
It's essentially the same thing. You can, especially with your abilities, you can find a little work. It's just not going to be super easy for you, especially with some of those roles you guys put out. You guys do find work, but you're essentially getting the grunt work, the scut work here. No one's handing you a spur rifle saying, hey, can you repair my grandfather's antique weapon? It's more along the lines of, here, can you sort these screws by size, color, and flavor?
Yeah, I kind of had the feeling I was, starting off at the bottom on that.
And it will result in some income, but it'll take a little while, basically. Take a work week and then a roll. So we'll get to that. Your roll here in a bit. The group that is moving into Toiler Square. So are you guys all moving specifically together, or are you looking to kind of split up separate from your current group?
No, I think the group number 2 would be traveling together. Right?
Safety in numbers.
Yeah.
That's up to you guys.
And that's what we choose then.
Nalka, you staying with the group, and
Yes.
Kashoot, you as well.
Sure. What are we doing?
My understanding was you guys were going to go to the open air market and just start asking questions about the Belianic Accord that you have kind of picked up a little information about.
Maybe not just. asking questions per se, maybe listening to conversations.
Yeah, like mostly listening to the conversations and whatnot. But we find ourselves just like dead out of options, like quietly asking, like, so, like what? Maybe it's the deception check, but like having like a conversation about somebody's wares and whatnot, and then being like, if I were to like want to buy something from the Accord, like where could I find them? Stuff like that. But ideally, we're gonna try and get a gauge of the community first, I guess.
So I see it's an two investigation checks. Kashoot, you want to throw me an investigation check as well? Tower's optional. I don't need it in the tower, but you're welcome to.
Rolled. I
Got
did
it.
it in the tower.
One second, real quick. So you guys spend the majority of the day kind of maneuvering and moving around, and you find that the vast majority of people know very little about the Belianic Accord. You get a little information, but in terms of actual knowledge of like this person's a member of the Belianic Accord, so this is where you can find them. That's a totally different thing. That is not what you find. That isn't anything that you are able to get an identification. This person works for the Belianic Accord. You can find them over on Main Street on the left, house 307. It's more conversation. So you guys gather some information. I'm gonna give it to you shortly, but it isn't in terms of specifics and people. For those of you who are looking for jobs, you guys do find one thing of note that is interesting. There are flyers everywhere, essentially looking for need money and people who are good at fighting. The Coliseum is known as the Battle Pits, is always looking for people and more fights, more gold, earn a year's wages in an afternoon. Some grandiose embellishments, presumably. There's also options to sell yourself into temporary servitude over at the stockyards. If you need money, you would be paid, but it would be, essentially you're a indentured servant for X amount of time, doing whatever it is you're going to be doing, depending on what it is you want to do. So those are two things you guys do pick up on. You guys got your job for the week. Those of you who are asking around the market, you get some conversations. You do end up making some mostly overhearing. You do have to kind of push the conversation a little bit here, a little bit there. There's not a lot. And because you guys aren't pushing the conversation, you guys aren't asking directly, the information you get is less guided and more picked up. So you don't get as much. But what you do gather is that, as previously known, this culture, Argosa, this planet, had been visited by the star beings. And like most mythos, the star beings are the good, and there was an evil antithesis, an evil set of beings that worked in opposition to the star beings. The star beings were like parental figures. They guided the native Argosans. They helped them develop. They essentially were, as I said, parental figures. They eventually left Argosa after building these numerous gates. The technology, just like the brothers told you, is alien. It is used, but it is very much akin to a primitive being finding a bow and arrow or a handgun and figuring out that if they pull the trigger, whatever it's pointed at can be killed. Repairing it is a whole different manner. Operating it, figuring out the basic rudimentary stuff is pretty simple, but it is very obvious as you guys are kind of listening and moving around that the people of Argosa, as well as the other planets, know the gates. They use the gates. They're obviously very durable. They don't break down often, but they don't actually know how they work. They don't know how they work or how to fix them, or at least as far as you can tell, nobody in this open air market does. Now, as far as the Belianic Accord, when these star beings left to oppose the evil creatures or whatever it is, they never came back. They left behind, at least as far as anybody understands, a organization sprouted up in their wake. How long? It doesn't. No one's really specific. It could be weeks, months, eons, thousands of years. You don't know. The two opposing organizations are the Alteri Hegemony, and they talk about these less in mythos and more like having dealt with them. And some of the references to the Alteri Hegemony, which is known as the Hegemony for short, they are occasional visitors to the city, frequent enough that the laws of the city seem to carry provisions for them. For example, servitude is legal in the city, but it has to be done a specific way. But there's a caveat that you overhear a merchant talking about indebted servitude, and he's trying to figure out somebody who owes him money. How does he get him basically forced into servitude so that he can get his money back? And you overhear that unless you're a member of the Alteri Hegemony, you have to go through this process. Well, the Alteri Hegemony have something written into the law of Zel Argosa that their Klavan are automatically deemed slaves of the Hegemony, and whoever is in charge of the Hegemony operations in the area is automatically the owner of the slaves. So they visit this area enough that they're written into law, but they're not necessarily frequent traders. Now, that's kind of what you picked up as ancillary. The opposing agents that oppose the hegemony, the hegemony tend to work in terms of power. There's references of battles and even wars. With the Belianic Accord seemed to be the ones who were left or took up the mantle of the star beings, looking to protect the weak, guide those in need. You get the impression that it's much more complicated than they're letting on to be. But the Belianic Accord is spoken of with much less familiarity. Not that anybody necessarily knows. They know they exist. They know they operate in opposition to the hegemony, but no one really knows of any in the city. They don't seem to talk about them, or if they do, they're operating very quietly. So either they don't come often or they don't make their presence known. So that's kind of what you pick up after a day spent here. For those of you who are working, you picked up that information. So at the end of the day, welcome Tyler, you guys find yourselves returning to the Cracked Goblet, you know, having moved around and talked around, and you all have managed to secure some form or fashion of employment and or gather information in the trade. If you want to purchase anything or do anything in town other than what you've described, that's fine. Let me spell Bellyanica Accord for you. But that's what you kind of have learned.
And do we all meet up at the end of the day?
I presume so, because you at the end of the day when you meet up at the Cracked Goblet, you guys get food. You don't have to pay for food and drink. Essentially, you get 2 meals a day, breakfast and dinner.
Hello, hello.
Okay.
Hello, Tyler.
Hi.
Aldo,
Good morning.
Tony, are you able to share the Zelargos map with me? Sorry.
I am. Don't worry, I forgot to save it myself, so.
Thank you.
Azu would like to ask how the others' day was and if they found out anything.
Oh, perhaps we just found out that the Accord is not so easy to find. But I guess we already knew that.
Did you find out anything at all?
Not much. They do seem to like helping people, which is good for us, but no one seems to know where they are, or isn't talking yet. Could
Well,
help
this is,
that we're strangers in this place. And they oppose what seems to be the government here. They shrug.
Well, there's always another day. We got Hazel and I got jobs at a tavern, so there's lots of people coming in and out. Maybe we'll hear something then.
Did you tell them about the place of great suffering and where Nalka can probably make money?
No, there was no mentioning of suffering.
Well, I imagine that people would suffer at the Colosseum.
Well, yeah. I can imagine they would.
It's Nalka, you can fight and make money.
Is that so?
Arthanis, I feel like that's right up your alley.
They volunteered you, Estrella, to go and look for a job. So if that's not what you wanted to do, just let me know. But
Oh,
we guessed
gotcha.
that was what you would want to do.
All right. Yeah. I'll think of something.
The Cracked Goblet does have, some music going tonight, and they do bring over some interesting food. More of a stew with some flatbread.
Yum, 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 yum.
So the entire party, after spending the day maneuvering in and around the city, kind of interacting with people, things of that nature, you all find yourselves becoming more familiar with the city, reducing your penalty to a -1. Again, this is more of a temporary. Once that other -1 goes away, the disadvantage goes away with it. But I'm adjusting that as we speak. So I'll let you guys discuss where you want to go from here while I adjust this.
I'm gonna step away for just a hot second.
Okay. So this Colosseum, it's not that dangerous, is it? They're not gonna try to kill you, are they?
I don't know. I've never been. They can try.
Sure, they're
But
gonna try.
I am confident that I cannot be killed.
I believe that, in fact.
I haven't fulfilled my purpose yet.
If we think I could assist with the Coliseum work, I'll do so. But just to be clear, I desire to deal with undue suffering. Right, suffering that that is unacceptable. You choose to fight in the Coliseum, but the suffering that you then take is well deserved.
Alright.
Now, if there's like
Well, I'm
slaves being forced to fight there, that would be more in my ballpark. But I wouldn't want to fight them then. I'd want to try and save them, right?
I am not comfortable with this, but if you guys do get hurt, come to me and I'll fix you right up.
I just meant if you were like looking for suffering, like you could go and get beat up or something. Never mind.
Yes, unfortunately, I don't have much in the way of trade skills. They air quotes that.
I think if finding the Accord is of importance to us, perhaps doing acts that the Accord themselves would do might just put us in a situation where we end up in the same room as them.
I mean, it is worth a shot.
What do you suggest?
Well, I don't have anything specific in mind. I don't know exactly yet, but the general theme would be helping people.
Yeah. Which is what we have been doing.
Indeed. I just and serving drinks could very well be a way of helping people. I don't deny that. But perhaps even like just keeping our ears out and fighting crime, perhaps, or perhaps stealing if this government is corrupt in somewhere, the people who rule this place is corrupt, as it might appear. Stealing from them to support those who need it. Tony, have we noticed like is there like a something of a class system we noticed, like people who seem to be well off and people who seem to be not well off?
I mean, yes. As with most societies, there's obviously people starting at the bottom. Slavery is allowed in the city. The majority of the quote unquote slaves are more indentured servants that have gone into debt and need to work off that debt, but there are slaves. And then, of course, freemen that are at the bottom end of the social strata and unskilled, more doing, carrying labor, physical labor, and then skilled labor, and then artisans. Pretty much as you would imagine. The one thing that is heavy in this city as you are moving about are the coteries. The coteries seems to be a mix between what you know to be guilds and gangs. There is a government, but there are, from what you guys estimate, 9 dominant. Let's use that word. 9 dominant coteries or factions. They have their own militia type things. They have influence in the political system as well as heavy involvement in commerce. But it is they control each of the major coteries are usually dominant because they control at least one of the gates in the city. You could put a concerted effort into trying to find out, the name of them and their focus, but too much attention can draw things back to you as well.
I mean, maybe even one of these coteries kind of seems to align themselves with what we believe to be the Accord's beliefs. So maybe we could try and find work with a coterie or join a coterie.
There's also
When-
these giant buildings in the town that could have something interesting going on there.
It's true, like we do have some funds. We don't need to find jobs immediately. We could explore as much of the town as possible and see what we stumble across, including the Coliseum.
Now, do mind you that the quote unquote employment takes up roughly 8 hours of their day, and so they do have free time to wander the city.
Yeah, it's not like we're tired. We just go to bed immediately.
Sounds like a dream.
I wish I could, but alas.
That's why we play tabletop role-playing games, gang. 8
Yeah.
hour shift, go to bed on
8 hours
time.
of sleep.
So you guys have, the evening. You get your food, and you have the evening to go about and do as thou wishes.
Is the building, or I guess series of buildings, directly, or not directly, but very close to the cracked goblet? Is that like a walled compound of some sort?
Can you mark it for me? So
Sure.
I know which one you mean. Yes. So as you moved in and around, you noticed that was not super uncommon to be referenced, because that is known in the town as the stockyards.
Ah.
And the stockyards themselves are a landmark in the city, because that is the city's slave market. If you wish to sell yourself into indentured servitude for a predetermined amount of time, or sell slaves, or buy slaves, or pretty much operate in any version of slavery, it has to be done out of the stockyards. Slavery, while legal in the city, is heavily regulated. People are, some people do it as a profession.
And the other close by building, the large blue one here. Will we have picked up anything about that while hanging out in the neighborhood?
I mean, if you so desired. A lot of this information is kind of general that you're going to pick up, but yes, that is a church. It's known as the Chapel of Blue Radiance. It's a religious stronghold, and it essentially has a religious following in the city that relies upon donations, things of that nature. It has priests that, as far as you can tell, the little, and I mean little bit of information you have gathered, tends to preach a benevolent message, offering food and sanctuary to people specifically who are impoverished, specifically children, homeless people coming from other worlds, refugees. They have a deity they worship, but most people don't necessarily subscribe to their religion as much as they enjoy the benefits of their charitable efforts.
I gotta check that place out.
Sounds Accord-like.
perhaps. That also sounds similar to Elmater in many ways. Perhaps they pray to Elmater. Maybe they call him something else or something, but
Perhaps.
Couldn't hurt to check.
I hear a dog. I don't see a dog. I have a dog walking around my office. There he is. Alright. Well, let's take a 5-minute break so I can take this dog to use the bathroom. Eddie's out, and
What?
Yeah, Eddie was away. He came back.
I've been back. I said I was back.
I apologize. I'm gonna go make coffee, take this dog to use the bathroom. I'm still on voice, so if you have questions, things of that nature.
Sounds good.
Talk to you when you're peeing. Gotcha.
And make myself some coffee because I have only had 1 cup of coffee today. The blasphemy.
I usually only drink 1 cup of coffee.
In a
Sometimes I
day.
don't drink coffee.
I usually drink 6 to 7 a day.
Oh, wow.
Hey, wow.
I enjoy the flavor of coffee. I used to drink soda a lot, like a lot of soda, and I decided to stop for health. And I didn't want.
Yeah.
My weight got to the point where I was just at the top end of the healthy spectrum, and I don't like being at the top end of the healthy spectrum, so I wanted it below the healthy, in the middle of the healthy spectrum. So I stopped drinking soda. I started drinking coffee. But
I'm trying to cut back on the soda drink itself.
Mm-hmm.
I drink a lot of times. Like I use creamer, but after a certain time of the day, I only use almond milk and equal. So it's literally 0-calorie coffee. So.
Yeah, we got a ton of hot chocolate mix, and I've been mixing that with coffee, with milk.
I don't
And
know
a
if you
sugar
guys have.
substitute packet.
Are you guys familiar with like Fairlife milk products?
I've heard of it.
Yep.
Yep. I
I
sometimes drink the
use-
chocolate milk.
That's what I do. I do a cup of coffee and I pour in like a couple splashes of the Fairlife chocolate milk with it.
Oh my gosh.
They've got good lactose-free milk.
Yeah. It's
That
it's
sounds-
also low sugar and low carbs.
That's
So
nice.
it's
High price though.
good shit.
Yeah.
It is a little on the pricey side. If you
Yeah.
if you guys have a Kroger's near you, I don't know what kind of grocery stores you have in your area.
Fuck is a Kroger's.
It's a type of grocery store. They have a off-brand of the Fairlife milk products that are probably like $2 cheaper and just as good.
Yeah, well, mixing chocolate milk with coffee sounds delicious.
I don't think I've ever done that.
It's tasty.
Not opposed.
It's kind of like, if you think about it, it's kind of like a cafe mocha, just with cold chocolate milk instead of hot chocolate.
Mmm.
Yeah, the problem is that the closest Kroger to me is like about an hour away. And
You can almost
Yeah.
you can almost always order something online.
Yep.
Almost always, yeah. Kroger's a grocery store here that refocused about 5-10 years ago to provide a lot of more options than quantity. So like Tasha's gluten free, and they have a plethora of gluten free options, for example.
Yeah, I'm keto and they have a ton of keto stuff.
We got no frills.
About
Sounds
the
good.
closest option to a Kroger's I've got is maybe the Sam's Club. And even then, that's still not exactly local.
Oh, I haven't
Sometimes you
seen a
can get
stand.
some. Go ahead.
Haven't seen a Sam's Club in years.
I thought all you
They
guys
should.
had was a Walmart and Target.
What's that?
I said I thought all you guys had were Walmarts and Targets.
Oh
got
God,
those-
no.
Alex was like, "Baby, that's racist."
And I don't know, but I mean, everywhere has like, I think every city has something like 6 or 7 different like grocery store chains. Even like me and Eddie live in Indianapolis, and there's probably 10 here. And I used to work in a city called Evansville, which is 2.5 hours south of here. And just it's same state, same, it's not super far away, just 2 hours. And they had totally different grocery stores besides, the Walmart, the Target. But they had like, 3 or 4 different ones. So I think every regional area has like their.
Interesting.
Yeah, the standard supermarket around where I'm at is called Schnucks. But back when I was living out in the East Coast in Virginia, I used to go to like places like Food Lion and Farm Fresh. Those were where we had our supermarkets. And I think when I was up in Northern Virginia, it was mainly just Giant and Safeway.
Why would they name a grocery store chain after a fool?
Idea?
Name it what?
I don't know.
Schnook. It means a fool.
I don't know, but that grocery store was one of the ones.
It's
tends to
another
be
word
more
for fool.
For at least the ones I've been in, those grocery stores, the ones I've been in, where they tend to be more upscale than. They're the ones that serve. At least the ones that, like I said, that have like big salad bars, and they have like a sushi area where they got a person on staff that makes fresh sushi.
I mean, sushi's not upscale. Sam's Club has sushi.
No, I'm saying like that's the type of stuff they have, as opposed to like metal detectors and a security guard.
We
You
used
can't
to
guess
also
the
have
type
shop. Oh, go ahead.
I was like, not that you can infer the type of area I grew up in.
So we used to also have a Shop and Save around here. That was also the other big one, but Shop and Save went out of business years ago, at least in the local area. All the stuff that were Shop and Save just reopened up as Schnucks. Yeah, all the stores closed when parent company Super Value decided to quit retail and focus exclusively on its wholesale business. Went defunct about 5 years ago. Anyway. Still.
I forgot to put the vote up, didn't I? My bad. If you're not back, let me know.
I'm not back yet.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
I thought I heard some jazzy swing in the background.
Indeed. Those are the big grocery stores in our city, Tyler.
Okay, I've heard of Aldi.
Yeah, we got an
I know-
Aldi around as
I know
well.
Safeway.
Yeah, we got an Aldi over here too.
And those are just from the zoomed out version. Like if you zoom in, you get like 70 of the little ones.
Wait a second. Did you just say we have an Aldi here in Ontario somewhere?
I don't think so.
I thought that's what Jess said.
I think they may have an Aldi where she's at.
Jess isn't in Ontario.
No,
know,
I'm in
she-
Ohio.
Oh,
I
she's
thought you were in
probably-
Ontario. What the fuck?
The
It's similar.
Canadian demographic is slipping.
We're losing our gold, boys.
Well, I'm not that far from
But
Canada.
it's okay. You
No.
guys won't complain about it.
I'm about to say out of all of us American players, Just is probably the closest to Canada than any of us.
Alright, so moving back, so you guys got some information on your first day. What is it you guys want to do for the evening? Are you guys looking to go out and about? Are you guys looking to just rest and move, try and gather some more information? Or are you guys looking? You guys have 2 immediate job opportunities, and besides the actual. So let me. I don't want to use these 2 terms interchangeably because they're technically slightly different. You have employment and jobs. Employment being profession work or daily work, where you
9 to
go
5.
9 to 5. You work as in an alchemist shop, washing flasks or what have you, regardless of your skill. And then you have jobs where you pick up, an actual mission. Think more quest, or you go to the Coliseum and sign up to fight. So you have options in both directions. Those of you who are spending 8 hours a day working, absolutely great. At the end of the work week, you guys will be able to, collect a wage, which will probably offset your cost of living quite a bit. So, as I said, you guys worked the majority of the morning. It's mid-evening, afternoon, depending on how you want to look at it. So you have a few hours to go out and about doing whatever you want in the town after you eat. So then, now that the group's back together, what do you guys like to do?
Can I see the stars from the city? Like, if I were to gaze up into the night sky.
Yes, but not as nicely as you would be able to,
Out
from
in the
out
with the
away
wilds.
from the light pollution.
Okay, yeah, I figured as much. All right. I was gonna see about maybe trying to find some study the constellations, but I figured if the light pollution is a problem, then I'm not gonna bother.
Could always go check out that church.
Take me to church.
He won't stop singing that.
Worship like a snail.
Yeah, I think church or the Coliseum are both interesting draws.
If anyone is going to the Coliseum, Kazu will tag along in case they need healing.
I'm gonna want to check it out. It's just fun. Ooh, if any of us are gonna go fighting, maybe we can set up a gambling thing. Place bets on our own party members.
Nothing can go wrong.
We can always split up as well.
I wouldn't mind going to the church. Just if anyone's gonna go to the Coliseum, then Kazu's gonna be worried about them.
I probably will tomorrow.
Okay.
So because we got 3 votes from the church and 4 votes.
Oh, sorry, I was going to.
Oh, okay.
I missed the vote.
I'm good either way, honestly. I don't have any particular.
Yeah.
There are other buildings to check out, like that giant white one across the bridge, or that giant black one across the bridge.
Got a bit to see.
I think we go to church.
I didn't say you were hustling people, Techno. I said that if you were selling people something.
Yeah, it's called a scam, I know. But still.
Okay.
All right, so everyone's going to the church together, minus one person.
I'm not going. Kashoot's not going to go to the church.
Where's Kashoot gonna go?
She'll stay at the.
Cracked Goblet.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys head over to the Temple of Blue Radiance. So you guys approach, and as you notice, the temple itself is made of some blue-ish looking material. You notice that the bluish material as you approach are crystals. They are carved or created crystals. The walls are opaque, but they are crystalline. And they are very large, but they are not necessarily soaring. They're fairly reasonable in size. There's some residual. A lot of the outside area of the temple has some lean-tos, things of that nature set up, as well as people are forming lines. The priest and priestesses are offering food. The homeless or people are moving in and around, coming up, getting free food. 1 second. So that's what you're seeing. What is it you guys want to do as you approach this temple? It is a flurry of activity.
Arthanis would want to try and find a representative of the church to speak with and perhaps learn from.
Nalka's gonna follow along with Arthanis for that.
Yeah.
So Arthanis, you're trying to move around and see what they're doing?
Well, so is there clearly someone who's like, well, for what I would consider to be a priest or a cleric?
There is a number of administrators in terms of priests. By the title, they are, operating the lines, taking down names, things of that nature. There's supervisors. You can't really tell who has, if any, magical abilities.
But I wouldn't.
But
I could say
there are a number of functionaries.
if someone's is busy at work, I wouldn't want to interrupt them necessarily. I might say like, is there someone I could speak to learn more about this establishment? Like maybe I go inside and see if there's like anybody like working the reception desk if they have one, or if they have like confessionals or anything like that.
Got it. So basically, where you can learn about the religion.
Yes, sir.
Got it. So the answer is yes. There is some places you can learn about that, and they just ask you to wait here. And so you just have general questions.
Indeed.
And who's staying with him?
Nalka
Azu.
is.
And who is not staying with him besides obvious Kashoot?
I
Technically,
came,
probably
I
just
saw. Sorry, go ahead.
I missed all of what you said.
Posted that in the chat here.
Hazel came and saw he'll leave
Hazel's leaving.
with probably Estrella, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Alright, so Hazel and Estrella, you guys are leaving?
Yep. To where? I don't know.
That was going to be my question, but we will...
Pick a cool looking building and go explore it.
Alright,
Don't tell me what to do.
Please?
So Estrella and Hazel, you guys think about where you're wanting to go. And for you that are staying in, it takes maybe 15 minutes, but you are met with a young woman, maybe in her late 20s, makes her way over, and she asks if you are the ones who asked to speak to someone who have questions about the temple.
Yes.
And she makes a motion for those of you who I believe was Arthanis, Techno, and Kazu. Is that correct?
Alka.
And Nauka.
Which one of us is closest to height to her?
That would be you, actually, Arthanis.
That worked out.
And well, think random height generator. And you notice she is actually considerably taller than you. But she makes a motion, and once everybody makes their way over, she introduces herself. She says her name is Diamatina. She is a junior priestess here at the Temple of Blue Radiances. And she says that anyone, and she makes a motion towards the seats that you guys are sitting on. And she says that she notices that you are off-worlders. She says if you will look under your seat, you can adjust your seat up or down. And if you find yourselves in a meeting such as this, the most will have a chair that allows height adjustment, so you can adjust the height of your seated self to be approximate to the entire group, so everyone may speak together in polite conversation.
Adjusting the seat.
Is this a tradition of the city, or is this a tradition of this church?
It's a tradition of the city, and it is also the way that the city overcomes this limitations on this tradition with the adjustable heights, so that everybody can speak as equals. What questions did any of you have about our temple?
Where we're from, temples are used as places to honor gods. Does this temple do something similar?
She says, yes, our temple is used to honor and worship our God. That is what we are dedicated to. That is our purpose.
And forgive my ignorance, but who is this god? Do they have a name?
She tells you that her god and the god of their temple is. Let me see if I can pronounce this correctly. I'll type it in here as well. So maybe you guys can mock my pronunciation and help out. Let's see. Kaitheklo.
Kislecklo.
About the best I could manage.
Sounds right to me.
She holds her holy symbol up, and her holy symbol is a glimmering wing that fades from deep purple to a cobalt teal color. And she tells you that we are servants of Kaitheko. We tend to attempt to safeguard and assist those in need.
That's very noble. What is Kaitheklo a god of? Anything specific?
She kind of looks slightly confused, asks you if you have, if you could phrase that another way. She isn't sure she understands the question.
It,
If you'd like.
does
For example, my god, you might call them, also wants to help people, and those who are suffering, and wants to support them through their suffering to find the eventual paradise. But there are other gods where we're from that also wish to help people, but perhaps do not focus their attention towards those of suffering.
She
And
gives
there
a
are-
nod. She says that's slightly odd that you wish to inflict suffering.
At times, but more so to neglect unrightful suffering and to take on the suffering of others when required.
She nods and says, Kaitheko teaches that deception, deceit, and confusion is what should be applied to those seeking to harm or cause suffering. She teaches to value the ancestral spirits, to live and bring light to darkness and love to sadness, but to deceive and confuse those of ill intent. She makes a motion, and you notice that she is able to cast divine magic, specifically using illusions.
Ooh.
Interesting. I believe we have similar gods where we're from. Is there a pantheon of gods here? Is Kaitheklo? Kaitheklo?
She says there is a pantheon that many follow. She says there are some from other worlds, but she says I can get you a list if you would like one.
That would be appreciated, yes. Do you have a direct relation to the Accord?
She says that she is aware of them. They have, as far as she knows, Kaitheko's agents have operated, or at least are rumored to have operated with the Accord but she is not aware of any operations herself. She has been born and raised in the city and in the temple, but she knows that Kaitheko and her followers have worked with the Belianic Accord towards mutually beneficial goals.
Oh, do you know anyone who might know more about the Accord?
She says that the Accord is going to be very secretive, especially in towns such as this, because towns such as this, Argosa functions on commerce, the highest bidder, so knowledge of their whereabouts would be easily purchasable for the right price, as most things are.
So, like bribing.
Most referred to as a garnish, but yes, it is bribery.
Well, then it's a good thing a couple of us got jobs, huh? So we can get more money. Maybe we'll be able to buy that information from someone.
Yes, indeed. These people you're helping, do you know why they need this help?
That depends on the specific person. Everyone's journey is their own. Some is of their own making, some is due to bad circumstances, and some are suffering or requiring of aid due to circumstances beyond their control.
So then that, I guess that leads me to this question. Is there anyone you would not help?
She does not make those decisions, but she knows that those who are currently being sought after by the justice authorities or are actively committing crimes are denied service at the temple, for example. Just not sure if that's what you were asking, but
That does apply to my thoughts, yes. Our principles appear to align, at least vaguely. Is there anything I could do to help? Is there a job I could do here for you?
that depends on the skill set you specifically have.
I am proficient at taking the suffering of others upon myself.
She says you can spend time in the temple, and if you would like to lend any magical aid you have or effort, they will happily compensate you at the end of a work week.
When can I start, I guess?
You can start tomorrow.
Thank you. I'll take you up on that.
I have a question.
Hazel, real quick. Hazel and Estrella, did you guys decide where you guys wanted to go?
Yeah, we're gonna go to a an astral observatory if there is one.
There are people that do observe the stars. I'll get back to you. It's definitely not to the same level as that you will see other places, but yes, there are some around.
Okay.
What was your question, Nauka?
Do you know where your god lives?
She doesn't fully understand the question.
Like, if I was to physically meet them, where would that be?
She says that is not something that is known to them.
What a shame.
They are not aware of the residency of their deity. They follow her tenets to the best of their ability.
Malcolm nods. Okay.
Alright, Kazu and Techno, did you have any questions?
Not so much of a question,
I-
but more of a statement. If they ever need like an extra set of hands for any like sort of repair work, then I'll be more than happy to assist.
Mm-hmm. Noted. Alright, so moving over to Estrella and Hazel, you guys wander, and so you ask around about whether or not you are wanting to, or about star observatories and things of that nature. And it doesn't take a super long time. You do find out there are the only real places where there are people who are staring at the stars for any considerable amount of time are two temples. They are temples to smaller deities that seem to focus heavily on worshiping or at least paying attention to the stars. I'll give you the names of both of them. I'm about to send in Discord the Pantheon. Now, mind you, this does not negate the Pantheon from Faerun. You do still have access to whatever deity you worship, such as Ilmater. Oftentimes, you find deities are multi-dimensional, meaning they have multiple names. The specific deities you two are looking at are going to be the neutral good deity of Olalis, as well as Yagan, the World Dreamer, which is a chaotic neutral one. Both are on that Pantheon sheet or deity list. They have some information. For example, Olalis tends to be a deity that is focused on future telling more than it is just the observance of the stars. So that is the first one. And Yajan, the World Dreamer, tends to be a creature that studies the stars, living creatures. There is no specific temple to Yajan, but there is a small building in town that has to do with observing the stars, and that's what you guys learn. And it takes you quite a while to get that information because it's so small.
If we can gain access, I'd like to go inside and just see if they have a like a telescope.
They do. They have a refractory telescope.
Can I look through it and see, like, are any of the stars the same?
Not a single one.
Are there any noticeable stars in the sky that like make a formation, kind of like a Big Dipper type idea? Anything like noticeable?
Give me a perception check.
Sure.
So there are some things that generally remind you of Big Dipper or familiar constellations, but even then they seem to be completely different. They don't seem to be the same stars. It's just happenstance that they even resemble something remotely similar.
I'll pull Hazel to the telescope and just go, see that one? That one kind of looks like the Dipper at home.
I don't see it.
I'll like try and like adjust the lens and then like focus it in on it and then show him again.
Oh, now I see it.
It's still not the same. I really want to go home.
Mm-hmm.
They do charge you 2 silver for the use of the telescope for the night.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll pay it.
So is there anything anyone else wants to do before the end of the evening?
Nope.
No, I'm okay.
No, I'm good.
Yep. All
Alright.
good.
Alright, so for you guys all make your way back. You do notice as you guys make your way back, Kashyut is no longer there. When you get there,
Oh, fuck.
the
Panicking.
the barkeep leaves, comes over and lets you guys know that Cash requested you be informed that she will be spending the night out among the town, and she is safe and secure and will meet you for breakfast tomorrow morning.
All right.
That sounds suspicious. I've never
Still
heard Kashyyyk
panicking.
talk so much.
Well, I mean, I guess we could go looking for them, but I don't think we'd be able to find them if they don't want to be found.
Probably not.
Just got to wait around.
Hey,
Ooh.
I am gonna apply a long rest right this second. So I'm gonna take a couple things off of the. I took a couple things off of the effects. Everybody is down to a -1. Still have disadvantage. You guys are starting to acclimate to the culture. You guys are adjusting quite well. So as you are moving, bear in mind spending some time working is not going to inhibit your ability to explore the city. It's not going to take a huge chunk of the game. So next time we play, it's going to be more along the lines of everyone does what they're going to do through the day. You guys meet for dinner and then go if you guys want to explore things of that nature. I'm going to try and start doing a little better recaps towards the end for purposes of one, me remembering because I've been feeling under the weather just yesterday. Feeling better, just not completely back. So I do want to some things everyone learned today. If you want to zoom your map out, I'm going to be drawing some circles on the map. You have the cracked goblet here. I also have a ton of symbols. We're going to be working zoomed in. I have a symbol there, but I'll be using better symbols. I have them. I just have the regional ones. You also learned this area right here is called the stockyards. This is called the stockyards because of the slave market, indentured servant market, things of that nature. The Blue Temple, the Temple of Blue Radiance, is a temple that serves a unusual deity, Kaitheko, a goddess that is worshipped of love and light and ancestral spirits and deception.
Ancestral. I thought you said incestual.
Ugh.
Oh no.
I was like, hang on,
Oh,
that's not what
no.
he said.
Well, I mean, I could see that in weird cultures, but ancestral spirits, that's just wrong. What the fuck are those ghosts doing? You guys got some basic information. You guys got the Pantheon of Gods. I have information on all of these gods. So as you kind of explore, it's up to you how much or how deep you guys want to go. But for now, we're starting with just kind of what information you gained. You also learned of an open air market, kind of a general market for traveling. You can find, people that come in, and the brothers probably use this market when they come in to sell some of their stuff, buy some of their stuff, move to and fro. The Toiler Square, and there is an area down here that seems to focus very heavily on animals, beasts, things of that nature, unusual creatures, livestock, quarantine. And there are a pretty heavy focus there on the animals. And let's make it 5 now. 5 of the party members got daytime jobs, working as repair, alchemist / bartender, assistants, cleaning mostly, as well as serving at the Temple of Kaitheko in terms of lending aid magically. And I think that is it, unless I missed one. Nauka and Kashut are living on their money at the moment. Before we do anything else, and someone remember this, you guys go ahead and take off the cost of tomorrow's lodging, and that is going to be depending on whether or not you are living on a comfortable or a wealthy lifestyle. That's going to be up to you, because you have at the Cracked Goblet, you have comfortable or wealthy. Somebody has the prices saved. I have them saved somewhere, but it's probably faster for you.
I have them. Well, I have the
Yeah.
comfortable.
If you have yours, there you go, Nauka. I heard you mention it earlier. That includes meals and room and board per person. So you're going to pay that. Nauka's typing the other one. Presumably comfortable being the first one, wealthy being the second
Yep.
one. Go ahead and take that off, because as we go, this stuff obviously will become less meaningful, but it should only go ahead and take that off. That'll cover tomorrow. The options you have in terms of jobs separate from employment. Coliseum is always looking for outlanders or locals to fight in their battle pits. And I will go ahead and let things go for the night. Let me think how to phrase this. Is the website that I threw up a bit ago of any use to you guys? Do you guys read it, or is it just extra stuff you guys don't feel like dealing with?
Fuck me, I
Forgot about it.
Well, there's not been anything useful on it because you guys have been involved in combat and things like that. There was no need for it as you're coming into the city. The question is it worth it to you to just keep notes, or would you rather me create an entry for Kaitheko and their information there, or would you rather just keep notes in game? I don't care, honestly. I just don't want to do it if it's not useful to you.
I've been keeping notes in game, but
Okay.
that's just me.
If that's what we'll go with. That's
I
all I
got my
need from
notes.
you guys this week. I'm going to be online for a bit. If anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, and or complaints, send them to Eddie.
Wait, what?
Sounds good. Now, Eddie.
Eddie, I got a phone to pick with you, you fucker.
No.
Why are we not level 4 yet?
Because Tony's a bitch, that's why.
Oh, shit.
Oh, damn.
Eddie's the
Damn.
only one I can't kick from the Discord. Because he
Rotten bugger.
technically started the server long ago.
So he knows he's safe.
I know.
For now.
Meh, forever.
Oh.
Jesus.
I know where the bodies are buried.
Oh
There
my
you go.
goodness.
Well, I hope you guys have a good week.
You too.
Yeah.
Later.
Good game, guys.
Yes, indeed.
Feel
Better, Tony.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Feel better.
GG, everyone. Talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
Good night, guys.
GG.